There we go.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Angie.
Hello.
So today is Wednesday, April 26, 2023. It's a special meeting of the Agriculture Commission to talk about Open Farm Day. We do have a quorum with myself, Bert Hansen, Zach Barnett, Marissa Cook-Obregon, and Sage Fury on Zoom. And we also have Inga Holtaling, Angie Simone, Dwight and Karen. Sometimes this is hard, I forget. Arnold, well, on, and Lucas Karen, and then also online we have Kim Wolf. So thanks, everyone, for coming. Oh, Dwight and Karen, you should have one of these things. We only have one agenda item, so I don't have to really,
Does everybody down there have the tasks and timeline of
I
copies?
think so.
I do.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was the list. Oh, Kim and Sage, did you get that in your email today? I emailed it. I don't know about it.
I'd have to look. I don't remember getting it.
You'll be able to tell by the conversation. So it's basically a timeline of what's gonna happen when, based on, it's still a work in progress, but based on what we talked about at our April 12th meeting. Oh, Kim got it. Okay, good. Thanks, Kim. So maybe check in first on, Inga, I know you've contacted farmers.
Yes.
Marissa, you have, and I have, so who do we have?
Okay, so far, we have 413B,
Yep,
Andrew Solak. Billy C's thought it was a great idea, but it's the Sabbath,
yeah,
and he's gonna be in Georgia
yeah.
with his bees. But my thought is, because I've talked to the Solaks who said yes, so the Solak farm is in our program as well.
Oh, okay, oh, good.
So I'm thinking, and I'm gonna talk to Andrew about it, if maybe he might want to go to Billy C's, because that's where he gets his bees, and promote the bees there, while
Oh.
Solaks are doing their thing at the farm as well. So I've
The
got
farm on Granville Road. we're
yes, the
talking.
farm on Granville Road.
Kind of reviewing.
So I've got a couple of ideas about that. Blossoming Acres had already said yes.
Yep,
Calabrese said yes.
Yay.
Yeah.
I spent an hour at the Cowards today, and at first they were like, no, because they're closed at that time.
oh.
But when I left, they said yes,
Oh,
because we're gonna
excellent.
be able to promote how Christmas trees become Christmas trees. They don't just grow in that shape. There's things that you have to
No
do
way.
to make them look that way. So, do that. They have a state-of-the-art, greenhouse. That would be awesome to be able to share with people as well, from the old greenhouses to where they've come today. So Cowards is in. Jack Feldman, once again, thought the idea was great, but he's there, no one would want to see my farm. There's really nothing to see. I'm there, but you're still producing from your land. So he might come up with some literature for us that we could share. But I want to be able to circle back to him once we get more to
Yeah.
talk to him about.
Yeah.
But delightful man. Lindsay at Firefly, oh, she was ecstatic.
I know, I
She
talked
got
to her
your-
too,
She
yeah.
got your letter, she was thrilled with that. And I thought I'd get excited about things. She took it up to another level. She was brainstorming and so excited about what she would want to do, from the goats petting and pony rides. Let's see, Ray's Farm, I have left a couple of messages for Skippy. Haven't heard back from him yet, so I'm just gonna pull in there some morning around 9:30 within the next couple of days
Okay.
and talk to him directly.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Solak said yes.
Yeah,
So,
very good.
so that's that. Oh, and somebody mentioned, and you're an Arnold?
Oh,
Somebody had mentioned about talking to the Arnolds. For the
There's a lot of them.
the tobacco farm.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, we talked about that at one of our meetings, and at first, Dwight, you were saying, well, I don't know, there's not really much to show, but then we started talking about how tobacco is grown. In fact, you have a Civil War era barn.
Yeah,
So-
that's something, maybe you could look at one of the barns or something
Yeah.
like that,
Well, I would recommend, if you want, to talk to John Coward, because they participate with the Granby Farm Day, and he said, the first time I did it, Inga, I just went by myself. He said, I brought my lunch, I had little snacks, I never had time to eat. And he got from who he sells his product to give him seconds. And he said, I was giving away cigars, I was giving away Halloween candy. It was amazing, and the amount of people that came because they were going to be able to be intimate with a tobacco barn.
Okay.
And he said, I had a couple of older people that were in the 80s that I had brought a couple of chairs for, and they were sewers back in the day. So
Oh.
I think people would get really super excited to be able to experience the tobacco barn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And also,
Yeah.
and my wife, she grows sunflowers there.
Yeah, that was
know,
my next
and,
question.
That'd be,
Tobacco and sunflower. Can't
What
go
a-
wrong.
what a great combination,
Yeah.
oh, happy place.
And for the record, that tobacco farm that John opens up on 189, it's one of the most popular stops on the open farm day. So people say what they say about tobacco in the 21st century. It is popular amongst older folks, people my
Yes.
age, because we remember working tobacco, and kids love it too, because the barns, he opens them and you can see right through them, and the kids are just like, wow. So, because we never see them open, you know, so unless you've worked in it, so
Right.
you could be the top stop in Southwoods Open Farm Day, so get ready.
Right,
Okay.
right, and I would definitely talk to John about it, because he
do a
was
great
just,
job.
he was
Yeah.
ecstatic talking about some of the stories of the people that participated or came. He had some people from California
Yeah.
well,
that were just so excited.
Wow, nice.
And we have
Excellent.
the vintage barns too, so that's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
plus, right? Yeah, that's, yeah.
I'd work it.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
and sunflowers, it's a double whammy.
Yeah. Oh, now we can start Raquel's here. So Marisa, you were talking to some folks too, I know.
I think I just had the first initial 3 that we had
Yeah.
discussed 2 meetings ago. I haven't had any updates from
Yeah,
them. They're
okay.
all, yeah, Johnson Brick Farms, I believe they're cousins, right?
Yeah.
They're Arnold's, yeah, they declined. And then, who were the other folks that I spoke to?
You talked to
Wally?
John Wally,
Yeah,
right?
Mr. Wally declined for
Yeah.
all of his, yeah.
Yep.
He's not going to be in town at all that week, and a lot of his staff is going to be out of town that week. And then, Inga spoke with the Solex and managed to get an affirmative response, so yay there. So I haven't done any further outreach.
Okay. Alrighty, Diana Flynn at Flynn Farm would like to participate.
Great.
I thought she was gonna be on tonight, but I guess not. Also, I invited the Historical Society to open their farm museum that day. That's not a day where they're
nice.
normally open, but they wanna be part of it, so they're gonna
Great.
be in on it too. So this means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, we have 10 farms,
Yay.
well, including the museum.
Oh, I think that's great.
So
If I
that-
may add one point while we're
Yeah.
still on the topic of Inga having done a little bit of outreach. Another really popular stop on Granby Open Farm Day is Angel Horses. They're in West Granby, right off of 219. They're not typically open as a farm. They're actually like a horse, they're like a retreat for retired horses who are now doing therapy. So they don't traditionally fall under their farm model. They don't appear on their brochure because they're not farming. But people love it because it's a chance to actually be close with equines, and equines being such special creatures, it ends up being another top spot. Your neighbors have an establishment with equines. I know it's not necessarily a traditional farm, but what does the commission think? And Inga having, the neighborly connection with them, what do you think? Would they consider that at all? Do you think they'd be open to it?
I mentioned to Holly about coming to do pony rides. And she thought that would be a hoot. And so I feel pretty confident that Holly would be willing to also open up Pine View Stables
Yes.
for the public to
Yeah.
come and see. And it'd be a great way for her also to promote her summer camp.
That's right.
And who doesn't want to go pet a horse?
That's it.
And she could do maybe some demonstrations in the arena, because I
Yeah.
don't think people, because it's a very rough barn.
Yeah.
It's not as pretty as, say, Strain, which I know has recently changed their name,
Yeah.
but it's a working horse barn. And he does lessons and she breeds. And it's quite an operation, if you don't mind that it's a little rough. But
It's lots of character.
it is. I absolutely love it because you've got birds flying around, you've got the cats there, and you've got 32 horses.
Oh, 32.
Wow.
Yeah, so,
Nice.
so I could confirm that with Holly for that day. And she said for the pony rides, she would just get insurance for that day.
Yeah.
But she thought it'd
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah. I'm just
Well,
gonna bring
maybe,
this
you know,
back.
we can ask her, like, if she has a preference so that she doesn't maybe feel obligated and stretched too thin on that day, if the pony rides end up maybe being something that she wants to set aside in order to be at the farm and open that up, or if she wants to
Right.
do one or the other. I wouldn't want her to feel stretched too thin, so maybe you can ask her, give her some options and see what she thinks would be.
Right, because right now, the feedback from, let's see here, Lindsay at Firefly, she's like, oh my gosh, I could do pony rides
Yeah.
at her farm.
Yeah.
So that might compensate for not having the pony rides up at Wally.
There you go, right.
So, but then she has barn girls too, so maybe they could do it.
Yeah, maybe that, yeah,
Can't have too
right.
many ponies. Well, my husband might think otherwise, but yeah, you can have too many. Okay.
Speaking of the one-day insurance issue you just brought up, I contacted Eric Mason at Farm Family Insurance, and he said there's, as a commission, we really can't do anything for people's insurance. But some farmers have brought up liability questions. He said, excuse me, they could ask their carrier about a special event class to add to their policy for like the one-day thing. So if that liability question comes up again, you know, we can suggest that to folks. Let's see, where am I here? In terms of other outreach to potential volunteers, I contacted the National Honor Society. Maybe, I don't know if you've heard from Mary Ann.
Not recently, no, but I can talk to her about it.
Yeah, and she said, oh, yeah, good, even though it's in August, she said that students coming in who wanted to be on NHS would probably
Right.
be up for it. And then, like, you know, juniors, you know, would, you know, graduating seniors probably, you know, graduate, you know, next month. Probably not, but so anyway, so the NHS, sorry, I'm always shuffling around papers here. What else did I contact?
So you're looking for volunteers to be at each of the
I
participating
think we should
farms?
have a greeter, maybe
Right.
just to handle putting the stickers on the passports or to,
Right.
you know, who knows, you know, as questions come up, I think the day of, we should plan on phone calls and texts coming back and forth from the various locations. Who knows what may come up.
I could help with soliciting additional volunteers if you
Okay,
need to.
super, yeah. I'm gonna go to the Conservation Commission meeting on Monday and hopefully corral some of them to help out. But we sent out, Gene Nilsson sent out the mailing, you know, sent out the surveys to the list that Marissa had. I think it turned out to be about 66 properties. They're, you know, 61A properties. Now, they're not all farms as we think of it, but we'll see if any of that, it'll, you know, raise a little awareness if nothing else. Yeah, and I also sent a heads up to Cliff Clark and Miasha Lee. They work for the Westfield News and for the Penny Saver Reminder. Say, hey, we have this thing coming up. Want to be sure you know about it. Hopefully you can cover the event the day of and maybe some stories ahead of time if all goes well. So.
I'm sorry, Bert, on that note, just reaching out to local press, is there a budget for putting in a small ad? I mean.
I'm hoping so. I haven't heard what our budget is yet.
Right.
So, we'll see.
Yeah,
We could reach out to some of the TV stations too,
That's a good point, yeah.
Western Mass News and
Yeah.
WWLP.
and even,
Yeah,
oh, sorry, even if it's coverage on the day of, it might be nice, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, Inga.
For
That's
next year.
Yeah,
Right?
But a known thing, yeah.
I have contacts at both those two television stations,
Oh,
so I can reach out to them, to see what they might be able to do for us.
okay,
And when it comes time for you to run ads, if you choose to do that route, I've been working with the Republican and the Westfield News for the past couple of years and have gotten very competitive pricing with them, with
Ah.
also free color. So I would be more
Ah.
than willing to help spearhead those contacts
okay.
and deliver for you the results cost effectively with also that free color, which is worth
Extraordinary.
Oh, a ton,
Great.
that's great. Wow,
Yeah.
awesome, okay,
So,
excellent.
oh,
Go
can I say
ahead.
one more
Yeah,
thing
go
with
ahead,
that?
yeah.
I recently found out that Westfield Vogue has a printing business
Hmm.
in-house. It's part of one of their training programs, and they do print work from signs to flyers. I
Oh.
haven't yet, I just was told about this yesterday. I haven't contacted them yet, but in my opinion, they're probably gonna be more competitive than the local vendors that I've used over the past couple
Sure.
of years.
You would think, yeah.
So that's something that we might want to look at once we decide once you decide what kind of collateral materials you want. That could be very profitable for your gain, to not have to spend top dollar and have it produced through Westfield Vogue. And nothing against the Southwoods, because I love your family.
No harm taken.
But I'm saying, we don't know what we have
Right.
for a budget, and if we can save a couple hundred here or there, it's just another alternative to look at,
Yeah, excellent, that's great,
so.
great idea. Okay, so maybe we can just kind of move through this list of what's gonna happen when, and again, you know, work in progress, you know? Let's see. Alex Prifty just joined. Alex, did you get an email with this tasks and timeline document, I hope? If not, you'll be able to follow the conversation.
I hope that's not your dinner, Lucas.
It might as well.
It might as well be, okay.
Dessert first.
Does anybody want it that way? Yeah, dinner, right?
I already had some. That's why I came early.
Oh, my favorite.
Everybody does that.
Here, I'll grab one. Well, it's hard to eat these and talk at the same time.
I forgot to buy some for myself.
Oh, sorry, Sage.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll live through you.
All right.
We'll have an extra one just for you.
Yeah.
There you go. Don't blame me
So
for the
when-
extra calories.
Oh, no, don't remind me that.
So at our last regular meeting, we said around May 15th, send out save the date type notices to our various email lists, you know, phone contacts, Facebook, websites. And we said June 20th, put up signs and banners at the major intersections and the park entrance. Distribute flyers at the farms participating, the businesses around town, town hall, library. And then info, whether it's emails or flyers or whatever, to the town boards and commissions. And I made a long list of, you know, there's us, of course, conservation, economic development, community preservation, council on aging. So there's about 10 or 12 town entities that I think we should, you know, be in touch with on a regular basis.
Bert, would
Yeah.
would it be possible to pause at that point, please?
Sure.
About flyers and info.
Sure.
So having done a lot
I
of
can
the
eat a candy
printing.
bar while you're talking.
Very good. Strategic. All right. So I respect that, yes. Having done printing before, for work and then also for the commission, we do need to kind of be mindful of lead time,
Mhm.
especially if we're looking at June 20th. That's coming up very soon in terms of like print turnaround and not paying for expedited printing
Mhm.
specifically. So, I brought, some commission members and some of our guests might have seen these, but these are from past visits that I've done to the Granby Open Farm Day. I think this is from 2018, but they still use the same format every year I've been since. And then this is 2021, smaller version. I've seen them around town everywhere in Granby, so I'll pass these around. But if we can start working on that, I'm happy to kind of start iterating on a version of that. I
Yeah.
know that that's the passport, so we can kind of
Yeah,
make
we
sure
can
they
kinda-
like link up with each
Yeah,
other.
sort of, we saw this last time. Oh, this is a nicer one, I think it is.
Well, I added to it the guts
Yeah,
from what you sent me, so this is the more new and improved one.
Is that meant to act as the flyer or as the passport or both? Is it like a versatile usage?
Mm,
What are we thinking
Good
in terms
question.
of distribution of that as well?
and chime in, I think this should be the passport, and the other flyers might be brochure type or a half page maybe. But I think it'll be important to have this be the tool for day of.
Yeah, Granby has a separate passport, and that way people don't get confused, and that way they also like print, maybe not as, I don't know what they do in terms of quantities, but for those of us that have done Open Farm Day and haven't done the passport, because we're kind of just breezing through and doing it informally, like, I don't know, maybe we wouldn't print quite as many copies, or we would, I don't know, like, we'll have to do a little bit of projection, but I think
Yeah.
it's a good idea to have that be a separate document,
Yeah,
so that,
okay. Yeah,
yeah.
agree, yeah.
Well, I came up with this. I don't know, I was just playing whether you might want to think about doing something like this, even for like a flyer.
Oh, cool.
And we can always, I put the Southwick Right to Farm
Yeah.
in there as
Alright.
well.
Oh, so this would be kind of a trifold?
It could be a
Type thing?
trifold, or you could just do that as a
Fold it.
flyer, just
Yeah.
that one piece there.
Oh, I see,
So,
guess,
a couple of different options to play with.
yeah, okay. Pass that out. Here's the Granby stuff.
The nice thing to include, maybe if we use this as a rubric, like a starting point, is, I think Granby's, I brought those, not because they're necessarily graphic paragons, but more like they're just really helpful in terms of the basic info that I think folks will need. So we get the map in this
Yep.
flyer version so people can plan ahead of time. The schedule's on the back, it's like fold out. Yeah, it is on the back, yeah, and then the list is there as well, so that's a simple enough, and I think kind of have something analogous to that already in the passport with the map and the list there. So maybe it's just adding on the back, like the actual schedules. I don't know if that's helpful. Do people find this visually? Yeah, is it? Well, maybe, you know what, I'm looking at this, and this is quite specific. This breaks it down by day. I don't know that our farmers in this inaugural year necessarily have like days broken down, parceled out like this necessarily. So maybe we
Right.
don't need the schedule this year, or I don't know if
Yeah.
it's helpful.
think it's asking a bit
consider that,
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
might be asking a bit much then, so
Yeah.
maybe that gives us a bit of liberty
Yeah.
to use
So I know
this
some of
back
those-
space.
Some of their scheduling is things like demonstrations, right, that take place at a certain time.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I don't know if any of our farmers would be doing demonstrations, or maybe folks doing rides, I don't know.
Yeah.
Pony rides,
But they would be doing it during that 4-hour window,
right,
Yeah.
right.
so,
We don't want
and,
to make it
and Granby is all day
Yeah, I
event,
think
isn't
they're
it?
6 hours, I think they're from 10 to
10 to
4, or
3:30.
3:30.
Yeah.
So just a couple hours longer, but
Yeah, this one passes around too, so
think
you can
they're-
kind of take a look at where we are.
ahead of us in terms of maybe parceling out the
See, that's
days.
it.
Yeah. Well, they're, how many years have they been doing it? They're way ahead of
No, I
us.
think they started in 2015 or 2017.
Oh, that recently? I
It's
didn't
not
know.
been around for
Yeah.
ages. No, I don't believe so, so.
I mean, with all this that's going on already, I would say a schedule would probably be something we should do for next time, just so that we're not like making people feel like obligated or rushed. Just enjoy what you see and what you find.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
good idea.
Because if we have 10 farms that are gonna participate from one end of our town to the other, we might might get feedback from people that they didn't have enough time to hit all 10 farms. So that's something for us to be cognitive of, especially if we're gonna have them starting at 12 at Wally Park. By the time they leave Wally Park, it might be 30 minutes, especially if we have some things for them to look at there.
Yeah,
And by the time they start going to the farms, we might see that they're gonna request the following year to be lengthier,
more, yeah.
so,
I don't know that we're gonna have much at Wally Park
okay.
to look at, get your passport. But I think when we have our farm fair after the farm parade, hopefully, we would have that kind of stuff.
Right, okay,
Yeah, I think the idea would be to try to get people to, I mean, 4 hours is not very long, so the idea would be to try to get them to the farms as quickly as possible. Like, a lot of people may skip Wally Park if they know they can just go straight to a farm and pick up the same material there in the interest of time.
Oh, that's, we should have some passports at the farms too.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, all the
definitely.
farms have them,
Yeah.
yeah.
right,
'cause-
so all the volunteers that are there are prepped with the passports, and here's what we're doing.
Yeah. I wouldn't want people to miss out going to the farms because they go to Wally Park first. I think we should try to
Right.
emphasize that Wally Park is like a central station, but you can go straight to a farm and visit as well and kind of pick up from there. Because, I mean, some people will make a day of it, others may just visit 2 farms and, call that a day, and that's great too. I think we wanna capture the whole market for however, long we have people's attention for, so.
Yeah, good.
But are we
Over
gonna
time,
have-
it will become something big.
Right.
Well, that's the idea.
It will definitely grow. So how then are we gonna facilitate bring it back to a central place with the stickers on them to potentially win a prize?
So what they've done at Granby, and again, bless them for being so generous with their model, and again, we can iterate, but what they have done is that each farm has a small table, and there'll be somebody from their AgCom or their land trust along with the farmer there greeting folks. They'll have a passport there, and then there's a box at every farm on that table for completed passports. And then at the end of the
Okay.
day, if you happen, so whichever farm you end at, and in this scenario, we can do that as well, in addition to Wally Park, just have a little shoebox and pop it in there, and then what they say, there's like a little note there that says, we'll draw 5 winners at the end of the day. Please make sure your phone number and name are on there. We'll give you a call if you've won. And then that way, I don't know.
And I think we also thought we might, another way would be to take a picture of your passport and email or text it to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah,
Do it that way too.
I could, yeah, yeah. Whoever-
Winners announced at the next meeting.
Next meeting, we'll give them a call.
Okay, that's a thought, Sage, yeah.
So what I can do with this passport then is make the name, address, and email bolder so that people know to put that information on here for point of contact for winners.
Yes, yeah, exactly, so that if they do drop it off in a little box, and we do it that way.
Are
Right.
they gonna have to have all 10 stamps to qualify? Because that's a lot of farms to hit in a 4-hour day.
That's what we've
Yeah, that's
said.
exactly where my head was going, Zach, because
Yeah.
they might not
I
do,
mean, that's like
not-
20 minutes a farm, not
so,
counting driving time.
Well,
right,
that's it, yeah,
right.
4 hours, it's not very
Yeah.
long. I've never participated in the passport program when I've done this, I've always just, personally, I've been like a
Well-
two-farm visit, so I
We could
don't
do a
know what the
tier.
minimum is.
Do a tier, like they get 4 stamps on their passport, they go for this kind of raffle of prizes. They get 6, they got this kind. If they get all 10, they get a special shot at other things. I mean, you don't have to make it all one lump sum.
Mhm.
And here, sorry, I haven't participated in that passport prize, but here, there's a little blurb that says experience the variety of agriculture that Granby CT has to offer and win a prize. You are eligible for prizes with just 1 stamp. Maybe we don't want to go that far. Those collecting 6 or more stamps could win a gift certificate to use at Lost Acres Farmers Market. So maybe we can do it like
Yeah.
that. Maybe 5 if you visited
Absolutely.
4 or 5. We don't have to. Oh no, that would be horrible if we made it like just rush like.
It wouldn't do justice to our
Yeah, that
participants.
grand,
No,
yeah.
no.
That's,
It'd be like that Southwick Open Farm Day caused like 7 car accidents. People were cutting each other off to get to the farms in time. So maybe,
Or caused a sudden triathlon.
Yeah.
We could have our own Ironman program here. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I like the tier concept as a,
Yeah,
it's gonna be,
yeah.
make it easier for the people. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
okay.
Good. That's very good. Yeah, thank you.
A little bit more reasonable for us too, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Let's see, where were we here? Okay. Then I think we said on or about July 20th, 1 month in advance, lawn signs, post lawn signs at the farms and make sure they have their passports and stickers.
Speaking of stickers, I found this on, I've been looking on Amazon for farm stickers.
Yeah.
So this here, there's 500 stickers for $9.37. They're all different farm characters, but they're smaller. So I know you were thinking the last meeting, like if they're a tobacco
Yeah,
farm, then there'd be like a cigar tobacco or an
Yeah.
apple farm apples, but I can't find them that specific.
Maybe 1
Yeah.
sheet per farm?
That might,
Yeah, we
Right,
could,
yeah.
we could do that. And then
yeah,
have
so
it,
I think any, I don't know, Dwight and Karen, what do you think? Any sort of any type of farm symbol? Here, I'll show.
That would be fine, you know, I mean, it's not, it's not like a memento that somebody's gonna like keep forever. I mean, it's just to denote that you were there.
right,
Yeah.
Do they
right.
have like stamps?
Yeah, I'm
With
thinking that
stamps
too.
Yeah, maybe that would
instead
be,
of stickers, maybe?
Yeah,
You wouldn't run out then.
yeah.
Not as
Well, that's
quickly
true.
anyway, once you run
We
out
would
of
need to
ink.
get the stamps
Yeah.
made, obviously.
so each farm would have an ink
It'll-
tablet
Yeah,
and a
I
little,
don't know what's easiest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just seen stamps used.
that would be probably more cost effective, possibly.
You could use it again.
And they can use it again if it doesn't dry up.
Oh.
And it's just a process.
Yeah.
when I buy them from Vistaprint for my business, my return address labels, they're cheap. You
Oh.
get whatever you want printed on them.
And that's at Vistaprint?
Yeah. You get it with, they deliver usually in about a week,
Really?
yeah.
How much are they? Do you know off the top of your head?
$10 maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, they're really cheap.
I get the bigger ones too, so they have smaller ones.
huh. And I wonder if we could have some kind of,
I think you can put a graphic on it, I think you can put anything on it.
yeah, something, and it would be different for each farm?
Or you could just put the
maybe?
farm's name on it.
No, that's true. Yeah.
But then
Just
you
remember,
do-
the more glitter, the more kids like it.
Yeah.
True.
Just an idea.
Oh, here, Essie's. Yeah, that's good. And so maybe if we go that route, you could help
Yeah,
facilitate that for us? Oh,
I can look into it either way, just to see
yeah, yeah,
what the
just
cost
find out,
is, and if you
okay.
can put graphics on or whatnot.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And I was wondering too, at Wally Park and maybe at the farms, do we want to have water bottles available for folks?
Well, John said that what they've done at the Granby Farm Days is he has water at the farm. He had cigars and candy.
I can probably get another big white donation.
Okay, well, that's where I was going with this. Maybe just kind of our courtesy to, somebody wants a water.
It's after fiscal year, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Will be
problem.
eligible, yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah, if somebody wants to give away something to do with their farm, I think, was it, Lenita, I think, said she might, well, I'll give everybody a free watermelon, you know.
Maybe a slice.
That's where, when I was talking to Calabrese, I said to them that once we have like something tangible for us to show you, then somebody from the AgCom would go to their farm and talk to them about what do they want to do?
Mhm.
How do they want to run the farm day at their farm? And it was like, well, maybe we can give something away for free. So,
Yeah, okay,
so I
yeah.
think that's where some of the retail folks are thinking,
Mhm.
and I'd say roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Well, maybe not to keep adding on more stuff, maybe we should have little stickers, you know, that Lenita could put on her watermelon saying, thanks for supporting Farm Day.
So I have a question. Once we know what the farms want to do, could we put that in the brochure? Like, not like a schedule like Connecticut has, but maybe just a blurb, like this is what's going on at the farm.
Yeah, something like that. I was just reading that, like where it says farm locations, some of them are really generic and just state like,
Just so people know
Yeah.
what's going on at the farm.
is that what you're envisioning, Angie, like
Yeah.
that, or?
Something like that, just so that if like maybe they have small kids and they don't wanna go to a certain farm and they know what's going on there,
Yeah,
you know, maybe they'll go to a different farm where
A little bit more
they can,
interactive.
they can push the strollers through that farm. Maybe they have
Mhm.
strollers and they don't wanna go, you know, somewhere
Yeah.
if it's muddy or
Or
something.
we could,
Yeah.
you know, just have just a one line, you know, pony rides, you know, or hay rides,
yeah,
or
Yoga with
Yeah.
goats.
yoga with goats,
right,
exactly.
right.
Or cigar rolling. So a tagline for each
Yeah.
farm.
Yeah.
Some of these I recognize just straight off, it's the same exact description as what Granby's ag brochure has, so if somebody kind of is just like, hey, just put me on there, I think we can copy verbatim what's on the brochure already to keep it simple and not
Sure.
make people brainstorm any more than they have to for this, you know?
Mhm. Unless there's something specific.
Yeah, I
know,
mean, that's
like-
the idea, we don't want people to jump through hoops to participate in this. It's like the farm itself should be the appeal already, and a
Yeah.
working farm, like, I think, we don't wanna add to farmers' workload unless they're willing to offer that, I think. You know, or if they see this as a marketing opportunity for them, I wouldn't want to push that.
You know, one
On
thing,
that.
while you're bringing on that subject, when Karen had her sunflowers there, you know, it's next to where I parked some of my tractors. And the people, the women who would come with their small kids, they would just run right over to the tractor. They wanted to start climbing on them and stuff like that. I mean, just like,
How did you feel about that? Were you okay with it?
well, I mean,
Or were you a little bit
it was kind of weird because we're worried about kids getting hurt or
Right.
something, you know?
Right.
And, but, you know, that's the type of thing that, you know, kids would like to see that type of stuff, I guess, you know? Maybe if they can't climb on them, but at least they can see them or whatever.
Yeah,
Or you could put them on the tractor and take them off the tractor or something. Cause you have a little small dinky tractor that's like, you know, be good for that.
Well, I'm talking
tell
with,
you-
we could have tractors out too,
Yeah.
so at the farms, because, yeah, kids are gonna go to those.
to see the tractor.
And the girls too.
The girls do too.
Yeah.
I tell you, my daughters, they see a tractor, you put their butt in the seat, you'll never get them off again. They love them.
So great photo ops,
Yeah.
as long as it's controlled,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like a
I
ladder.
gotta
maybe.
buy the tractor.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So, we'll be placing articles and information as much as possible in Southwoods, Westfield News, Go Local, Prime, Penny Saver, Channel 15, Town Crier. I was thinking about with volunteers, do we need some, we're gonna need some sort of orientation type of event, not event, but some way to clue them into what they gotta do and who to call if there's a question and, you know, that kind of thing. I don't know if we try to get everybody together for that or if we
Invite them
can,
to
Oh.
a meeting.
yeah.
I would actually ask Granby really quick, since they're so open to sharing their information, ask them what they do with their volunteers. At least it's a foot in the door, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
They draw, in terms of procuring volunteers, I know that it's their AdCom members and the Granby Land Trust, they do this jointly. I know we're doing this solo now at this stage, but,
mhm.
yeah, so it's, at this point, like, folks that they just kind of have in their network. And I think they do have like one meeting ahead of time,
Mhm.
just to kind of cover the bases and,
Our, Zach, to your point, our regular August meeting would be August 9th, which is, you know, 10 days ahead, roughly. Good work, think about that.
I think keep it very brief because it's pretty straightforward. I mean, I think the biggest information will just be to have, I don't know, maybe your contact info, Bert, and stamp the passports, right? And like encourage people if they don't, you know,
Yeah.
if they want to participate and they fill out 5 farms and stick it in there. But again, some of these places have been pretty like hands-off and self-guided too, so it's pretty, we can keep it as simple as we want.
Yeah. Yeah. But we do need them to kind of march to the same drummer, right?
Yeah, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like even if it were a self-guided place, like Granby still has somebody, like sometimes the farmer's too busy to participate,
Yeah.
but they'll have a land trust member or an AdCom member just sitting
Yeah.
at the front and they'll hand you like a little map of the property if it's a self-guided tour. And they just kind of say, have fun. But, you know, for liability purposes, if someone falls or needs help, there's like someone on site, because,
Right, yeah. So
you know.
Right, and when I was talking to Solax, there, and I told them that there was gonna be a member there from the commission or a volunteer. That was important because of directing where to park
Yeah, exactly.
and
There you
how
go.
to
Yeah.
facilitate that.
Yeah, it can be that too,
So,
yeah.
I definitely think having a meeting with the volunteers prior is critical. So like you said, everybody's on the same page, they know what the drill is, and can use you as a point of contact if necessary.
Right.
On that note, it might be critical then to do a run-through very quickly with the farmer himself, just on site. Not necessarily with the volunteers, but just like have an AdCom member go, like for instance, right, for instance, like you guys have somebody go to your land and kind of, you tell us, like, this area is gonna be off limits, this area is okay, we'd like people to park here. You know, please make sure no one wanders off in this direction. Not that you guys wouldn't be there, but like, if you're, again, opening up your farm in any way, shape, or form, it's like you set the parameters and we're there to support that and respect that. And maybe then the commission member can come back, report, and then whatever volunteer gets assigned to the Arnold farm / you know, Karen Arnold sunflower stand, they'll know exactly what they need to do, like site by site, you know, that way, you know, because I'm thinking like, yeah, general information, you know, everyone knows how to do a stamp, but maybe it's gonna be specific to what each farmer wants.
Correct.
You know, or in the Solex case, like somebody going beforehand and knowing exactly what the Solex would like and picking a volunteer who feels competent directing traffic, you know? Some people may not love that either, so some people might.
Well, the way that I was promoting this was after this meeting and things are being more defined, that they would hear back from someone from the commission, probably Bert, in regards to visiting there to find out what they want to participate with.
Yeah.
So that's how I positioned it.
Okay. Oh, giving me an assignment, eh?
I'll gladly go with you.
No.
We can tag team 'em.
The one thing I would like to put out there too is we should also ask each farmer that's participating, if say everyone goes to the one farm first shot, just a contingency secondary parking area that we might actually be able to put people off to, just in case. Just because it is our first time, we don't know how many people we're gonna have visiting these farms. And just in case we have that one farm that everyone just is like, oh, you know what, they got horses, we're going there first. You know, we need
Yep.
to, just let's make sure we have a contingency second parking place for each farm too.
Yep, good point. Yep, yep. Okay. Yeah, so potentially, Marissa, to your point, at our July meeting, which would be July 12th, maybe we could have the information from all the farms to sort out, you know, excuse me, who wants what. And,
Yeah, yeah.
or we certainly can have another special meeting.
Yeah, I mean, does it seem realistic that by then we will have had the opportunity to kind of walk through the farm?
Yeah,
Just
that's
because it's the first year with folks, I feel like, I mean, Granby's been doing this for ages, so it's like the same thing basically every year at all
Mhm.
these sites. But for us, it's like, I think the farmer themselves would also appreciate maybe like a mock walkthrough,
Mhm.
just to make sure that like,
Mhm.
Definitely.
right, I mean.
Yeah, because how many people do Granby? Like, a lot of people?
Yeah, quite a bit,
Yeah.
quite a bit,
So
so.
we have to figure out where we're gonna put everybody.
Mhm.
Because
That
that
space.
street's busy. If you park people across the street, they're gonna want to cross the street.
Right, so this is the food for thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a
Exactly.
lot to figure out.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's incumbent on us then as ag, you know, as the Ag Commission organizing, we'll spend time one-on-one with each farmer.
Yeah.
If that means divvying it up so that, you know, it doesn't just fall on Bert and Inga. You know, other folks can kind of be like the, I'm not sure what the term would be, but like the prototype, or like go to the farm site,
Yeah.
you know, and kind of have maybe like 2 farms, if we split it up 2 farms each, kind of just spends, you know, doing a mock tour, like
Mhm.
asking the farmer, what do you think people would like to see? What would you like people to see? Let's do a mock walkthrough, see how long it takes,
It's like doing a SWOT. Strengths,
Yeah, okay,
weaknesses,
Right.
obstacles and threats.
Right, right,
So to be able to identify what are we going to potentially have to deal with, i.e.
Yeah.
the parking.
Yeah.
exactly, parking, you know, all of that.
Yeah.
No, you know, off-limit areas, like,
Yeah.
each person takes notes and then comes back to the ag meeting and is like, okay, this is the tour for this site, you know?
Right, right. Just a curiosity question, Karen and Dwight. So next to your sunflowers is a kind of a dirt road path.
Yeah,
Can you get out the other end?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Oh, that's,
You have to go
Yeah, you
down
go
by the
way around,
greenhouses
you
and
know.
around. But I mean, we could park people on that other side.
Yeah, I mean, you had a day there where you had cars all day long, you know?
Constant people all day.
You know, but, you know, you parked on the side of the road and across the street or wherever, you know? And then
I
people-
just worry about our street. That's what I'm.
That's true, because there's that bad corner there, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm.
But where your sunflowers are here, it's not so bad.
No.
I feel like we should just get a thing of straws and start drawing straws for which farms we're gonna go and visit. These assessments.
Yeah.
all right, good. Good. Let's see, then around August 1st, you know, pretty close to the event, if we do have the money, you know, paid ads. And maybe on our various Facebook pages, you know, boost the posts. That doesn't cost much, but it costs something. We'll see. And then the day of, we talked about some decorations, like, you know, a tractor or two, some hay bales, you know, that kind of thing. We're gonna need, you know, speaking of parking, you know, I mean, if you've been to Wally Park before, it's pretty obvious where you park, but if you haven't, you know, as you're going up the hill there, you might need a couple of signs to say, you know, keep going.
So are we gonna be at the pavilion?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think it'd also be helpful to get parking signs for the actual farm sites. I mean, Wally Park has parking spots. It's like,
Mhm.
kind of like you're saying, a no-brainer, but
yeah,
I think the parking signs would be more essential for the farm places themselves. Once the farmers kind of define to us where they feel people can park, where it's safe, or where they, would like people to be, it'd be good to have that parking sign
yeah,
there, just so,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
addition to like the volunteer doing the assistance, it's like, nice to have
Yeah.
that.
good point. We talked about name tags for the volunteers. Oh, we also talked about like a wristband type of thing for the participants. Do we want to, like kids, especially like that kind of stuff? I don't know if we,
I think it's money, it comes down
yeah,
to
yeah.
how much money. This is something that, but when you start factoring in the printing cost,
Right.
it's going to throw you off your chair. That's why
No, I
learning
know.
about Westfield Voc yesterday is, I'm chomping at the bit to call them tomorrow to see what their cost factors are for color, trifold or single
Yeah.
folds. And it's gonna come down to money.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. And sometimes, again, we have to think about quantities, but I've done things before where I got a flat piece of paper and I took them home and folded them all up,
Yeah. And the name tags, they have the little sticky, like the ones that you get at conferences.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you thinking something that simplistic, or do something in like the shape of a barn, or?
I think
Well,
keep it simple.
Keep it
Just a
simple, I mean, the
name
branding
tag,
would be
yeah.
nice, but,
Right.
yeah, keep it simple.
Yeah, I think,
Let's write down these ideas for the next time, put it that way. This way we know that we can ask for more, to invest in more, and the thing is, they'll probably start opening our budget more if they see that it's a real big driver for our town.
Yeah.
Correct.
Good point. We're playing the long game here. See, we talked about water bottles, and just a note to, be prepared for phone calls and texts, and I thought you said so-and-so was gonna be here, that kind of stuff.
That's why you've gotta get volunteers that know that they're responsible for this.
And then our follow-up, we've talked about, the prizes for the passports, some thank yous or certificates of appreciation for the farmers and the volunteers. And then as many follow-up articles and posts as we can do in whatever media. I think. Well, one thing in terms of outreach and advertising is we talked about promoting it at surrounding towns, Westfield, Granville, Suffield, Granby. And we can look around, they probably all have Facebook pages and town websites and whatever, so go that route.
What towns do you wanna infiltrate? Other than the obvious, which would be Westfield, Agawam. Do you wanna go into Connecticut as well?
I think any bordering town.
Okay,
So Granby, Suffield, Granville.
okay.
Yeah.
I would actually say Enfield as well, because Enfield's always coming through our town. I mean, always.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good.
If you're doing water bottles at the participants, at the farms, I see it says participants there, we're gonna probably need coolers as well, because it's
True.
gonna be
It's gonna be
August
August.
20th, and it's probably gonna be, well, it could be anything.
anything.
Right.
So it'd be coolers, and I don't know if that's something that we all would feel comfortable contributing, a cooler for the day. if we all have them ourselves, so that we don't have to buy the coolers.
Mm.
It's also gonna be waste.
It's gonna be the waste of the bottles.
Yep.
We don't wanna leave those at the farms.
No.
So that's where we're gonna wanna have a reciprocal with a trash bag in it. Fortunately, it's recyclable,
Yeah.
so that's a good plus. But we'd have to think about the coolers, then there's also gonna be incurring the cost of ice. And maybe a couple of ice fill-ups during the day. If it's a hot day, we aren't gonna lose ice.
Yeah.
So there's that factor too. So then it's a question, is it worth having the water there, or are we hoping that the people that are coming are going to be self-sustained?
Mhm.
Something to think of, it's just one more thing for that volunteer at that
It
location
is.
to
It's a
have
great
to
point, Inga.
man
Yeah,
and then deal with the trash.
yeah.
And hopefully if somebody's walking around someplace, they don't just throw their trash.
That's another thing.
But we know
Right.
people do that because I pick it up on my
Oh,
road
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I would say? Look for the ones that are gonna have the most activities are the ones that we should probably supply water at, because they're gonna stay there the longest, and that's where we probably need to quench people's thirst. And I would say just have a little reservation at the other ones for kids' sake, because kids, oh, you know, they overheat and they get dehydrated quick, so at least some safety precautions to help the parents out.
Should be bringing water for the kids.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's on the parents.
Maybe just have the water at Wally Park, you know, if you show up there, you get a water.
Yeah.
That's a lot of logistics and a lot of
Right.
Yeah,
cost.
there's
And
a
all
lot
those-
more
There's
to
already,
it.
there's already trash receptacles there.
Right. True.
Yeah,
And the plastic water bottles, all those water bottles.
yeah, I
That's-
would
that's
veto
not
that. That's way too much orchestration and
Yeah.
possible waste and
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot
And I
of
think
money.
we wanna encourage people to try to bring their own water bottles as well, like, I think there's like a threat of sustainability in this, so it also seems paradoxical to buy
right.
plastic water bottles, you
Right,
know,
right.
so.
And they will be driving by Chabeli's, the Notch.
Right.
Right.
Worst comes to worst, they can stop in and pick up something, but
Right.
I think for
Yeah.
logistics sakes, it might not just,
Yeah.
it might not be the best thing
Good,
to do.
yeah, good
Yeah.
thought, yeah.
This Open
Yeah.
Farm Day brochure has a little thing on the backside, it says famished on Open Farm Day, refuel at our sponsor locations. So that would be a great
Ah.
opportunity as well to maybe push people to,
Go to the Notch, or
Notch.
go to
Blossoming Acres
Chabeli's, Blossoming
They have
Acres.
yeah.
There you
the
go.
other business, and maybe pitch that as a possible sponsorship option, since that's what they did here, so it's
Absolutely.
win-win.
Yep.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
And
use
that's
our
a-
resources.
Exactly.
Yeah, summer house.
That way, everybody gets in on Open Farm Day, not just the farms, right?
Well, this is all part of why Brooke came to the EDC meeting
Right,
a couple of
Yeah.
months ago, was
Yeah.
to be able to say, this is something we're thinking about, what do you think? I don't know their level of enthusiasm, because I was at that meeting with you,
Yeah,
Bert,
yeah.
because I go to all the EDC meetings. But this is something that I can bring up at the meeting next month, and because we have one of the members of the EDC could be one of these sponsors, the Notch.
Okay, right, right.
So
Yeah.
you had said the Summer House, the Notch, Chabeli's.
this has a Westfield Bank, Granby, sponsored by Westfield Bank, so I feel like if they're willing to sponsor Granby, would they be willing to sponsor us, seeing they have a branch in town?
They were in the same state.
Yeah, and we're, Salmon Brook Veterinary Hospital, which is in Granby, I wonder if our
Oh,
VCA would be willing
VCA,
to, there's
yeah.
a nice connection there with animals.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Here is Nationwide
VCA.
Agribusiness and Farm Credit East, I wonder if Mason Insurance might be willing to do sponsorship, because they're along those lines. Sweet Beet unfortunately closed. There's an attorney's office here, another insurance agency, I wonder if Southwick Insurance might be open to sponsoring.
For College Highway.
Yep, because Serena's on the EDC College
Yeah.
Highway.
Yeah.
And then restaurant wise, yeah, they have Hans, Grassroots Ice Cream, Farmer's Kitchen, The Barns, so we could ask Summer House, possibly
Malicious.
Lulicious, Village Pizza, you think of other
Yeah.
places folks might want to
Yeah.
visit.
Roma Village.
No, they're trying to reopen that Subway.
Oh, yeah,
Sure.
Oh,
right,
uh-huh.
they are, that could be a great opportunity for them. Sunflower
Yeah.
Cafe, I don't know if they're open on is this happening on a Sunday or?
Sunday.
Sunday,
Okay,
yeah.
I don't know if they're open on Sundays, but that would be great, because that's a small little local shop. Red's Cafe,
Reds, yeah, Rail Trail Ale House,
Well, last
Maybe.
year I hosted the first annual Taste of Southwick.
yeah.
The day after, well, that Shop Small, Shop Local Saturday. So I have all these contacts with all of our local
Perfect.
restaurants. So once we define what we want to do for sponsors, you just give me the green light and I'll call them, because I already have a relationship with them,
Mhm.
and see how we can utilize them as a sponsor.
excellent, Inga. I mean, I would be in favor of proceeding with that at this point. It's almost May. It takes time sometimes for people to, finish their fiscal year, start their new one. It flies by in the summer. And if we want to actually like have a budget, I'd say let's ask them, the sooner the better, so.
Yeah. Agree.
So are we
Yeah.
looking for maybe tiered sponsorships? For
Yes.
$50?
Yep.
We can't take more than 50, right? Or how does that work?
Oh, right, shoot,
Hmm. Mhm.
I think it
I
is
hadn't thought of that.
$50, but we have to
Um,
review conflict of interest.
Well, what does Granby do for those sponsorships? Because aren't they bound by the same type of rules we are?
I wonder if
They
they have
don't
like
have
some,
anything tiered, they just say sponsored by, and then
right,
they
I
have
wonder if they have
everybody
like
in
a
the
fund though that it could go into, a farm day fund.
Could get this one.
Or,
June
well,
would
we
know.
have a gift account, most of the commissions do, where ours has money from the former tractor rallies,
Oh,
in it?
so,
but I think,
Yeah, I don't know.
Check with legal
check
first?
that out.
yeah. And then ask if it needs to be earmarked specifically within that fund, because it would be a sponsorship for Open Farm Day. It's not just
Right.
going into the general gift fund, so.
Right.
And what the cap or the max amount would be permissible. Once you get that info, Bert, then you talk to the rest of the members of the commission. Just shoot me an email and I'll go to town with the sponsors. I've got a great relationship with Westfield Bank. They helped me support the Small Shop Local First Taste of Southwick by giving me all the pens for the bags that I had at all 21 businesses.
Oh, okay.
Great.
And that's where all my money is also, so I know that they'll be willing to, I would have no problem going and talking to them directly
That would be great.
Yeah.
at the local level.
Yeah. Okay, I will find out. Oh, I was gonna say, I think we've talked before, where is this piece of paper?
Oh, I just realized I have a conference call at 8:30. I didn't realize it was 8 o'clock already.
I know, time flies, huh?
So I'm gonna have to leave.
Yeah. Let me just find one thing, if I can find it here. But actually, Angie found from, Granby, anyway, I can't find it right now.
You can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, I know. I have it in my email, but they're, for the Granby, they had, one of their meetings, in the minutes was their sponsorship levels
Oh, okay.
and what they actually spent.
Yeah,
So,
remember that.
Okay, I hate to do this. I have to leave.
That's fine.
That's
I
okay.
also work full-time, so.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Okay.
Thank you
calling.
so
Yeah,
much.
thank
for
you
your
so much.
contributions,
Listen,
Inga.
I'll wait to hear back.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good night, everyone.
night.
Good
night.
Safe.
Good night.
So now that we've gone through this, we have like some upcoming targets.
Yep.
Can we set deadlines for that so that we can, question, at our next ag meeting, our regular meeting in 2 weeks, is there gonna be any space to talk about Open Farm Day, or is Open Farm Day organization happening as like these separate
Yeah.
special meetings? What's the
Yeah,
plan
no,
going
we
forward?
can make time.
I think we have to.
Yeah,
okay.
we did our April 12th meeting, we talked about the farm day,
Okay,
which is where we decided to have this meeting. So definitely, in
okay,
fact, probably even a majority of the,
We'll probably put it at the end of the agenda, just so take care of like regular business first.
good call.
Mhm.
in that case, then, that's looking at mid-May, and
Right.
that would be probably starting to push our printing deadline. So can we have a deadline made for maybe next week for the initial printing material to be completed? I think now that we have just one more farm that we need to ask, hopefully, right? Was it one more farm, just the horse stables next to Inga? Was there anyone else
Yeah, I
that we?
think that was it, just.
That was it, but otherwise, we're pretty much
I
confirmed, I think, is that what
I
she
think so.
said, 10?
Yep.
That makes me feel confident with like starting to just finalize this and print it, because again, turnaround time for printing can be sometimes anywhere from 3 weeks to a month if we don't wanna pay for expedited shipping. And we have a date here of June 20th, so that gives us just 4 weeks to review and get it printed.
Yep.
I'd be happy to help Inga finesse this brochure. I think this is a great start graphically, but I think I would just maybe change maybe some of the font elements to make it a little bit clearer. And I think instead of relying so much on graphic photos, I think these are more placeholders. We have plenty of actual farm photos, and you've sent me photos as well of your farm, and I'd love people to actually like see our marketing material and see what they're like gonna visit, you know, like give them a
Yeah.
little snapshot. So I can have that done by the next meeting. I wish Inga, I should have brought this up right before she left, maybe have her send me the file and I can
Okay,
get a final copy completed so that at the next meeting, everyone says yay or nay. And we can start moving on printing, because we may decide that we want to wait another meeting, and then in that case, that pushes our deadline to maybe early July for printing. And then we only have a month or so it starts to creep up very quickly.
right. So you're thinking we would finalize this design of that piece next week, maybe, potentially?
Yeah, absolutely.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
because Inga's already done quite a bit of work.
Yeah.
We've gotten good consensus from everybody here on what we more or less want on it in terms of information. We know what farms are going to be there.
But what about the sponsors on the back?
Yeah,
That would be the question, yeah, the
We're not gonna know
sponsors, so
that.
maybe that's, what I can do is I can tentatively put the logos of the sponsors, and then maybe Inga will have, I guess the question comes down, will you have information from town hall about
Well,
what's okay for sponsorship or
tomorrow's
not?
Thursday, so yeah, I'll talk to them tomorrow. I'll start with the,
Yeah.
Michelle Hill. And, but maybe, this, more we're thinking about it, maybe do the sponsors need to be on this first piece? I mean, they'll definitely be on the passport.
Oh, see, I thought maybe having them on the passport wasn't as important, because the passport was gonna get stamped and everything, so I thought marketing material wise, there was more value in having their logos. Because a lot of the passports may come back to us, in which case I feel like it's a sunk cost almost, like.
Yeah, I agree,
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
I mean, we can keep this deadline of June 20th for, that you've proposed here, Bert, for the flyers to be done, but maybe, how about we try to get as much done as possible by the next meeting in 2
Yeah.
weeks? A lot can
Yeah.
happen in 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And the goal will be to have a nearly finalized version. Hopefully at the next meeting, maybe there'll be getting final okays on who's actually sponsoring us and who's not, and then if I
Yeah.
get approval at that meeting, we can start printing. After
yeah, that gives that's May 10th, so that gives us.
Yeah, if there's any last minute
1,
edits,
2, 3.
getting it uploaded, that would give
That's
us,
6 weeks to the 20th,
yeah,
and the 20th isn't a hard and fast date, we
Right.
thought around then, a month
Right.
before. We should be,
yeah.
we should be out there.
I just know from having printed this, was supposed to be a 3-week turnaround, and it ended up taking a month and a half, printers get caught up in stuff, so.
Yeah,
I think I'm a little traumatized from that,
I'm sure, yeah.
As well as for the master plan, that ended up getting delayed another
Yeah,
week, so it's
good
like,
point. That kind of blows my mind, though, that it would take 6 weeks to print something like that. But
One thought about the Westfield Vogue.
Mhm.
Once summer hits, they're probably not open.
Oh,
Very good
right.
point.
Didn't even think of that.
It just hit me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
shoot.
Let's see, where did I write that down? Well, here. Okay,
Do you need commission members to go to the farms before you have the print materials for the brochure too?
What else in
Um,
there?
For the, because
the
you wanted the
mock walkthrough
tagline,
kind of thing?
yeah.
Oh, the tagline.
To put the tagline, are you putting that in that brochure,
How do we do it?
or are you gonna
think-
put it in the passport?
I think we should.
Yeah, I mean, a
So-
lot of them were pretty, what do you think, Karen? I don't know.
Yeah, they have it on the back there. It would be good, because then people would know what's
they're
going
doing.
on,
Right,
why
right.
they
But I
should
think
come.
we could do that by phone or even email and not have to actually visit the farm for that information. We
Right.
want to visit, we said, for the mock walkthrough kind of thing, but that's later, right, I think.
Well, maybe what we can do then is, I'll need to have the confirmed list of folks in order to like update this graphically. So when that list gets sent over, is there a chance that Inga, who's done the outreach, could she add a note underneath each of the confirmed farms, like roughly what they've told her? And if they haven't told her anything, then I can just totally substitute what's
Yeah.
already on here and just say, hey, plants, plants will be for sale, like that. Like, they kept it very simple here. I mean, it's just literally one line, some of them, like, apples and, like, and if someone does have another extra layer to it, like, opening up the back, then hopefully that can be something Inga can already provide, because she's spoken to them.
Mhm, mhm.
You don't need to include like super detailed information, like walk by the pond, like, I think we can figure that out later when we do the tour. I can work with Inga on getting that information though from her and making sure that, any holes
Yeah.
are plugged up for the descriptions, so.
So, good question, Angie.
But you don't need this then, you don't need this.
I don't think so. I'm wondering if we can put more photos there, because this,
Yeah.
right?
So, yeah.
It's like a little too texty here. I feel like we could have used maybe, they're so organized, they needed this, but we don't, so let's make it look beautiful, right?
Yeah.
With your flowers, yeah, exactly.
Okay, this has been a great conversation. I appreciate all your input. And folks online too, Sage, of course. Anybody else have any? Is there something we haven't touched on? I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
There's one volunteer at each farm, but maybe some farms need two.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're getting volunteers, maybe think about that.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
Try
'cause
to
we
get as
got-
many as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we got a group all at
People are gonna need
once.
to take breaks maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good call, yes.
I mean, it's
And
4 hours, it's
safety
not that
wise,
long.
Yeah.
You know.
Restroom breaks even.
Yeah,
Good point.
well, that's the other thing too, all these farms have restrooms,
Yeah.
Oh.
or you're gonna be going behind a corn stalk.
I can go to the summer house.
Yeah, I would
Right.
just send them to the summer house. Yeah,
Or
that's fun.
back to
Wear
Wally,
yourself out.
back to Wally Park.
Yeah, Wally Park
And we-
is best.
We now have that porta potty thing that for AgCom too. Unfortunately, we only have one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's something to consider.
I think Granby, when I went to one very child-centric one year, somebody asked that, and they were like, we just tell people to go to the Stop and Shop or Geisler's downtown.
Okay.
It's like a 5-minute drive, so I think they just step out of that entirely, that
Yeah.
obligation. Yeah, so maybe you could tell people there's like a McDonald's
Yeah.
closest to you, if you're
Mobile,
on that
yeah.
side of town, or if you're this side, summer house. Yeah,
Another way to drive small businesses up.
yeah.
Yeah, good.
I did have one question, just in light of the master plan and us, doing these things on behalf of town hall, it's become really apparent the dearth of involvement from people under 40. And it gets even worse if you're under 30, and then even worse if you're under 20. So are we in any way marketing this in a form that like appeals to not that you're the spokesperson for your demographic, but.
I speak for the children.
Yes, you speak for the youth, yes.
We're the only youth
If
here, so.
only.
yeah.
But is there anything that we're missing that you feel we can add? It's really important to try to,
Well, I think this passport thing you have going is definitely going to help to attract the kids. But
young kids. or
yeah,
your-
especially young kids. I will say, like, maybe like when you go to advertise it, maybe have a more child-friendly vibe. I don't know how exactly you would go about that. Maybe, more colorful posters, or like do something with the school, like have them do something over the announcements. I do the announcements, so I can make it a very
We have
fun.
kids.
Come to our farm forum,
Yeah.
or open farm day, sorry.
Yeah. True. Do you think it'd be possible to get any announcements in before the end of the year, seeing that this is the start of or during summer vacation?
I mean, I could have a chat with Mr. Pescatelli, the vice principal. I have no doubts that they would be more than happy to do that.
Wow,
Awesome.
okay,
That's a good idea.
great. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Lucas, that would be really great. And when it comes time to actually, approving the flyer, I mean, can Inga and I call on you and make sure that it's appealing enough and that it doesn't seem too, boring, graphically boring, like you're saying, it needs to be appealing to other folks too, so
Yeah,
can we call on you and,
absolutely.
Okay.
And grandparents own Southwood, so if
yeah,
not me, I can always chat with them to see what their opinions are.
yeah,
Okay.
that would be
Great.
great. Any other ways that we can start thinking about I know we have a Facebook page, but no one, again, after a certain point in age, uses Facebook.
Sure.
And I don't know that we would have access to Instagram or TikTok as a town committee. Are there other things that come to mind in terms of promoting this in the dead of summer, like when kids and college students are kind of in summer mode, how?
Well, I mean, the obvious one that comes to mind is you could get the school to maybe send out an email to all of the school emails. The only problem with that is speaking as a student, I don't know how much I actually check my school email during the summer.
Yeah.
So we could do it's hard to say. I mean, not so much involved with the school, but I mean, I don't know if you have to pay for this, but doing a call to the homes, that's less student oriented and that's more in general. But it's hard to say. I mean, I could personally try to, go talk to my friends, let's go come to this. Or I could talk to Mr. Pescatelli about maybe more ways we could go about doing this during the summer.
Yeah,
But
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be great if you could do that, yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
really good, yeah.
The walking path, how many kids attend that? Because we could always put flyers on the trail, along the trails.
The rail trail?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, yeah, I think there's a board where you post things, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a couple of them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
Kids
see.
use that at
rail.
all, or?
And then we'll get a kid-friendly approval poster for Lucas to look at.
I think quite a few people.
Yeah,
also, we could always just put some of those posters up in the school.
oh, yeah, if we
Yeah.
manage to have some done in time, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe I could even, mock up, it doesn't have to be a flyer, because a flyer is a lot of commitment for a kid to take, right? You're okay, not going that far. But a poster might just be an easy printout and you slap it on the wall and,
Yeah. And especially, like I said, we make it bright and colorful. It's gonna attract a lot of people very quickly, so.
Right,
And QR code?
Oh, yeah.
QR code. So, yeah, I can work on a poster based off of what Inga has started to develop here that will be really easy, and we can get that printed, and if you get permission from Assistant Principal Pescatelli,
Assistant,
right,
yeah.
Pescatelli, then we're golden, right? hopefully we can get that done by the next meeting. That should be easier, like a poster, just,
Right.
Trackers.
yeah, right, exactly. We have to photograph some at your place.
I
Great.
could talk to him as soon as like tomorrow.
Yeah.
And just see like, is this a thing that we can do? Would you be interested? Are we allowed to do this?
Yeah.
I can't see why we wouldn't be. They're not too stingy on that kind of stuff, so it should be good.
Yeah, especially since he was very helpful in facilitating the master plan group with the high school students. And the topics there were so much about land,
Right.
you know? And one thing that everybody did say at that was that there were no good hangout spots after school, except for the summer house. So
It's become a
wherever we like,
problem.
yeah, the kids like have no place to go after school because it's really hard without sidewalks. That's like the furthest they can
Yeah.
get before sidewalks start to.
Whenever we
Yeah.
have like a half day, you'll see like an army of students walking down from the high school to the summer house, and it's always so packed. I wouldn't go as far as say it's like incredibly uncomfortable, but especially for like the people who work there, it gets a little rowdy, like students become unruly. They start
Yeah.
spraying like that silly string all over the ground, popping
Oh, man.
balloons, and they don't pick it up. It was a whole ordeal.
Oh, so we need more places like the summer
Yes.
house to host the students, but we'll definitely mark it there
Yeah.
to get your eyes.
Yeah.
I'm hearing we need a video arcade.
Yeah, oh my
Yes,
gosh, that's a great
definitely.
idea, yeah.
That comment or issue that came up at the master plan meeting at the high school about the kids not having any place to go, I actually passed that along to Lynn Blair at the library, and I'm not sure what she'll do with it, but she was glad to hear that kids are looking for a place to go. So,
Read a book.
At the library,
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
yeah.
some kind of
Maybe some-
refreshments, yeah.
Yeah.
At least a food truck.
Something.
Something, right? 'Cause kids are
Yeah.
hungry after
Oh,
school,
yeah.
so yeah, okay. Great, thank you for that
Well,
feedback.
I'm kind of hearing also if the kids have nothing to do in the summer, then Farm Day is perfect for them. At least have one day of celebrating.
True.
And we can get them to volunteer.
Especially, I mean, I have no doubts if you do advertise at NHS, you'll get a decent amount of people who join.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Just like even showing up to one of our meetings, I know, can't remember his name, but one of the other members of the master plan came at one point to talk about a project he was doing, and it was a big hit with the kids,
Sure.
so.
Okay. Just, hey, tell me when the meetings are, I'll be there. Right,
If I'm
find
in
out.
town, I'm willing to.
Hmm.
Just let me know the dates and I'll try to make it happen.
Alrighty.
Top of my head. So like, I think it's the second Tuesday of each month,
Okay,
so I will get the actual date
Okay.
soon, but that should be it.
yeah.
Full roster of stuff to do for AdCom, Lucas.
I'm not stressed, you know,
Is that
happy to
okay?
help.
Yeah, all right, okay. That's the end of the school year too, so we want to be mindful of your workload, so.
Okay,
Very good.
I thought we were all wrapping up and that was 15 minutes ago. But,
Who needs sleep? Come on now.
Like,
I say this being only 7:30 for me.
Oh, right.
Lucky you.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we can have a motion to adjourn. Who wants the motion? I will. Well, it has to be.
I'll
actually-
motion.
Okay, Sage makes motion to adjourn. I'll second it. Let's just do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? No? Good, okay. Thank you,
Yay,
everyone.
okay, great.
I'm gonna
Lots of
stop
good
the
feedback.
recording.
Have a good night. It was nice seeing everybody.
Yeah, same here, Sage. Thank you so much
Bye.
for your input.
You too. Team effort.
For
Yeah.
being willing to take some stuff on.
I wanted to ask,
How do I
I
stop
started writing
recording?
the article about Jimmy Carter.
Oh, yeah.